President Buhari expresses more concern over the lingering academic staff union of universities' industrial action and more support to recover from global economic shocks due to COVID-19. These and more on Panorama. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Welcome. Just a quick reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. President Muhammadu Buhari may have lost patience over the prolonged action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities in the country, saying enough is enough. The president expressed his anger while granting audience to members of the Progressive Governors Forum on Salah homage at his Daura residence in Katsina State. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
Chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Kebbi State Governor Atiku Bagudu led the APC governors on the visit, which also includes some members of the National Working Committee and other chieftains of the governing party. President Muhammadu Buhari, after hosting them to a lunch, appreciated their support and contributions so far, individually and collectively, in the task of nation building, as well as addressing genuine public concerns.
It has been tough, but I thank God that people are appreciating the personal effort we are making, all of us, not me alone. Please keep on working for our people, for our country. We are a lucky people.
The president, who spoke at length on the value of education, says apart from increasing knowledge and strengthening the mind, it also makes people independent and put their potentials to maximum use. Achieving this, however, laments, is becoming extremely difficult in Nigeria due to the attitude of university lecturers who go on strike at will.
There is nothing wrong with showing the government and the leadership that you don't like what they are doing. But enough is enough. Don't hurt the next generation, for goodness sake. So those of you who have friends that are teachers, persuade them to go back to classes so that our children can resume their educational pursuit.
The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Kebbi State Governor Atiku Bagudu had earlier paid glowing tribute to the president for his purposeful leadership, patriotism and magnanimous disposition to those in need.
Under you, encouraged by you, our nation has witnessed the greatest investment in the people at the lowest level of the income strata. The food policy measures you have taken has convinced both Nigerians and our neighbors that you mean business. And we have seen investments across the country in different states that were not there before. Investment which are consistent with what you have shown. Let us grow what we eat and eat what we grow. It is your forthrightness, it is your patriotism and belief in Nigeria. Every time we come to you, you support and accede to requests we make in order to make sure that Nigeria is a better country.
He promised that in the best interest of Nigeria and Nigerians, the APC governors are determined to ensure that the governing party retains power so that the worthy legacies of the Buhari presidency can be sustained for a prosperous future of the country.
The members of this forum would like to assure you that we will work very, very hard to ensure the success of our party. We have all reasons to work hard, and we are confident that with what you have helped us achieve in Nigeria, as we go around Nigeria to campaign for our party under your leadership, we have a great story to tell. We believe Nigerians will trust us and Nigerians will appreciate that even where the outcomes are less than what we had hoped, that we have done well. You have done well, and we are very, very proud of you.
For a start, the APC governors are billed to storm Osogbo on Tuesday towards ensuring that Governor Oyetola's Osun remains an APC state. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, professors and academics must take a keen interest, especially on issues of education, healthcare, and exploring options for reform and innovation in those human capital development sectors. This was a highlight of a virtual meeting between Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and a team of professors drawn from the 6 geopolitical zones under the auspices of the Progressive Intellectuals Advisory Group. The Vice President, who interacted with the dons on a number of topical national development issues, urged stakeholders, especially members of professional bodies, to make contributions towards addressing them. On access to tertiary education, Vice President Osinbajo said, given the rate of interest in tertiary education, the nation cannot cope with the brick-and-mortar approach and won't be able to cope with the numbers in the near future, because there would be millions more who would not be able to get into schools. The Vice President wants the academic to consider developing online tertiary education to the point where Nigeria offers the best services in the sector. Also in healthcare, the Vice President called on members of the group to support the federal government's efforts to reform the healthcare system by contributing to ideas that will make health insurance work effectively in the country. He mentioned that a health reform committee is already in place looking at the issues. Leader of the group and Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences, National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Shehu Adamu, who also spoke about the need for Nigeria to strengthen the open and distance learning ODL option to address the issue of access to university education. The Progressive Governors Forum says its members are willing, able, and ready to work assiduously towards ensuring that the governing APC records overwhelming victory in the next general elections in order to effectively retain power in the country. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Bagudu, stated this in Daura, Katsina State, while leading members of the party to pay a solemn homage on President Muhammadu Buhari. The APC governors described as false, baseless, and mischievous insinuations in some quarters that the governors are not happy with the choice of Senator Kashim Shettima as running mate to the party's presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress is reaching out to all its aggrieved members in the aftermath of the party's primaries to ensure unity ahead of the general elections. One of the team's mandates for this assignment has visited Jigawa State, from where Awal Mohammed Kazaure reports.
A team led by the Zonal Vice Chairman Northwest Salihu Lukman said their mission in Jigawa State is to meet with party leadership and aggrieved members of the party to further cement existing relationship that will lead APC to victory in the 2023 general elections. The Zonal Vice Chairman commended the APC in Jigawa State for constituting local reconciliation committee that will make their assignment easy.
We want to win the election, and we want to ensure whatever problem exists in every state is resolved before the election, so that everybody is working for the victory of the party. I think so far, from what we hear, they are already taking steps to do the right thing. All we need to do is to give them all the support required so that all the problems are resolved.
So, and all members, all the stakeholders are here, and we have discussed, they have complained, they have raised their issues, and then the party has taken note of these issues, and definitely will take them forward to the national headquarters for resolution. Other issues that have been discussed have been traced, and then I think all has went well. There's no problem.
The state deputy governor, who is also the party's governorship standard bearer, pledged to work with the national committee to promote unity of members. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) have arrested one of the wanted terror suspects who escaped from the Medium Security Correctional Center Abuja following an attack on the facility by insurgents last week in Abuja. The fleeing terror suspect, Suleiman Sidi, was arrested in the early hours of Monday 11th July at Area 1 Motor Park in the Federal Capital Territory while attempting to board a commercial vehicle to Maiduguri, Borno State. During search, 3 wraps of cannabis sativa were found on him. In another development, the presidency disagrees with the editorial on Daily Trust newspaper of Sunday 10th July, stating that any suggestion that the Buhari administration is not leaving Nigeria in a better place than it found it, especially in the key areas of economy, security and corruption, is not correct. Enumerating the achievements of the administration in different sectors of the economy, the statement says on security, as recent as 2015, Boko Haram held territory equal to the size of Belgium in Nigeria. Today, they hold no Nigerian territory to speak of. In March, the military eliminated the leader of ISWAP in an airstrike using United States jets and British intelligence, testament to the newfound trusts of nations' allies in the administration. Other aspects of governance in which the administration recorded successes include solution to herder farmer crisis through National Livestock Transformation Plan, where ranches have been established under the initiative. On corruption, the statement noted that the administration has seen hundreds of millions in stolen funds returned from abroad and used as social and welfare funds distributed directly to the poorest during the COVID-19 pandemic and the provision of long-delayed infrastructure, roads, bridges, rail, and power. This is Panorama. We'll pause for some messages. It returns shortly. Do stay tuned.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Welcome back. Most people who know their way around the cyberspace are now enjoying the quality of life such information and communication technology tool brings. But it is not all that jolly anymore on the digital space for some people who see the space as haven for nefarious activities, as the federal government has developed sets of rules to sanitize the digital space. Chidima Ndebisi will tell us how this code of practice for online platforms is well received.
With just a click or two on this information superhighway called the internet, interactions and access to information are achieved from anywhere across the globe. Since there are no rules of engagement here except some self-censorship by online managers, disinformation, misinformation, cyberbullying, attacks and all sorts have become the norm. So, countries such as the United States of America, United Kingdom, Canada, and the European Union have risen to the challenge by developing a set of principles that will bring sanity to online activities. Towing this line, Nigeria, through the National Information Technology Development Agency, has come up with its code of practice to regulate online operations with inputs from big techs that manage these online platforms. Nigerian Communications Commission, and National Broadcasting Commission. The Code of Practice sets out procedures to protect fundamental human rights of online users and guards against online harms. It also elicits accountability from operators regarding unlawful and harmful contents.
It's just to extend Nigerian laws into Nigerian cyberspace to make sure whatever is illegal offline is illegal online, and also making sure there is digital diplomacy between Nigeria and these big techs.
Online platforms are to have a registered physical office and pay taxes in Nigeria. Owen is an online newspaper journalist. He says in the digital space where everyone has turned out to be a journalist, the code is necessary.
There should be a kind of regulation for everything that is done. I'm really happy because you have to oversee things. If you don't oversee things and allow people to do it the way they like, it will not be good.
But others seem to differ.
There's already cyber law.
Nobody putting chains on the legs of media or online media platforms. Government must have a section that responds to misinformation and disinformation.
For now, the code is in its draft copy with collated public inputs to be reviewed before the final copy is released. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Kano State's government is designing a new master plan for sustainable infrastructural and economic development. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje stated this during an inspection visit to the site of some mega projects in Kano metropolis. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
In the last 7 years, Kano State government has constructed 7 flyovers, underpass and tunnels to ease vehicular movement in the ever-busy sections of the state capital. Of this number, 5 have been completed and put to use, while 2 are nearing completion. This 1-kilometer bridge being built within the Kano Central Business District is designed to end traffic congestion around Kantunkwari Textile and Kwanasinga Essential Commodities markets. It is expected to be ready before the end of this month. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, who expressed satisfaction with the quality and pace of work so far executed, assured of plans to sustain this infrastructural revolution.
We have done design so that subsequent governments will have a master plan to build on that. And in few years' time to come, Kano State, Kano Metropolitan City, will be compared with any other mega city in the world.
He also disclosed that President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to be in Kano to inaugurate these and other mega projects before the end of September. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
To ensure effective monitoring and evaluation of national social investment programs of the federal government, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has trained independent monitors for the program in Cross River State. Maureen Leo Ajam reports that 32 independent monitors trained were also empowered with tabs to commence monitoring in communities across the state.
The Social Investment Program was created by the federal government in 2016 with the mandate of lifting citizens out of poverty through a number of social interventions. The Job Creation Program NPA, National Homegrown School Feeding Program, Conditional Cash Transfer Program, and the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program. Ensuring effective data collection for evidence-based decision-making for improvement is the reason for the training and onboarding of Stream 2 independent monitors, with Cross River State taking its turn.
When we conducted the M&E sometime last year, we realized that some of the areas were not actually monitored, and some of the cooks, were actually not cooking what they were meant to cook for the children. The NPA volunteers were not actually going to their primary place of assignment. Under the conditional cash transfer, we also observed that some of the beneficiaries were not actually being paid. There were some sharp practices that were observed in the communities, and so the essence of these independent monitors is to actually ensure that those practices are no more there.
For the conditional cash transfer particularly, it is the less privileged category that is being targeted. Currently, we have 31,148 beneficiaries across the 18 LGAs. It's been very helpful. It has impacted positively in the lives of the beneficiaries.
The independent monitors are being charged to take responsibility for monitoring the program in their community schools, households, and market clusters, with the focus of ensuring that the primary objectives of the National Social Investment Programs are achieved. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
Civil society organizations in Gombe State have taken delivery of medical supplies and food materials from the Victim Support Fund Task Force on COVID-19 for free distribution to over 3,000 households across the state. Emmanuel Akila reports that the assistance also includes support to improve education development.
With COVID-19 still a global health challenge in communities around the world, Gombe State is lucky to have the Victim Support Fund VSF Task Force on COVID-19 look at our people with compassion. The fund construct solar-powered water boreholes in the 3 senatorial districts of the state.
Besides provision of COVID-19 palliative, the Victim Support Fund Task Force on COVID-19 also intervenes in communities with food materials and critical infrastructure.
We are fetching water, we are not suffering.
It's only fortuitously auspicious for us as an organization to ensure that we respond very urgently to the needs of these people.
Authorities in Gombe State see the kind gesture by VSF as helpful in healthcare provision and education development.
These are interventions to cushion the effect of COVID from Victim Support Fund.
For somebody to come from that far and then do needs assessment of what we require, like this provision of a borehole or water system for the school.
A courtesy call to Gombe State Deputy Governor Manasa Daniel Jato precedes the VSF Task Force on COVID-19 tour in the state. The Victim Support Fund is a charity organization chaired by General Theophilus Anjuma retired in Gombe. Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
The African Development Bank wants Africa to fully unlock the existing potential of the agricultural sector through a structural transformation to become a major food supplier to meet food needs in the world. President of the bank, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, while reacting to impacts of the Russian-Ukraine conflict in terms of food shortage in Africa, sees the crisis as an opportunity for Africa's transformation. Justin Bemuni reports.
The Ukraine-Russia war may seem afar off geographically from Africa, but in the actual sense, it has a direct impact on the African continent, as Africa depends largely on wheat and corn imports from the two warring countries. Reports have it that 41% of wheat supplied to Africa comes from Ukraine and Russia, just as 31% of corn supplied to Africa also comes from Ukraine. Relative reports imply that this year there would be no more 30 million metric tons of both wheat and corn coming from the warring countries, which analysts say could lead to a potential food crisis. Another implication from the report is that Africa will not be getting 2 million metric tons of fertilizer from these warring countries, which will in turn affect productivity on existing cultivated land in Africa. Opinions from experts suggest that these two factors may pose a threat to looming food crisis to Africa. So what has been Africa's response?
We launched a $1.5 billion African emergency food production plan to help Africa to produce and compensate for what is not going to be getting from those countries. Now, this will allow Africa to produce 38 million metric tons of food.
The African Development Bank president believes that Africa does not need bows in hands to beg for food. Rather, they need seeds in the ground to produce food for itself, citing that in the Russia-Ukraine crisis lies an opportunity for Africa.
Africa has today 65%, David, of all the uncultivated arable land left to feed 9 billion people in the world by 2050.
He suggests what Africa does with agriculture will determine the future of food in the world. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
And that's Panorama. We thank you for watching. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Please remember to connect with the NTA and stand against rape and rapists. On behalf of the entire production crew, good afternoon.